Hello everybody, welcome back to Tales of Arise. My name is Aiden Blaze, and here we are, ready and set. I'm going to Lenegis over, where the fuck is it over there? I hope it's over there. We're going there, on this old ye-ass fucking starship from 300 years ago. Take off? Yes we will, don't mind if we do. We got stuff we need to settle there, god damn it. Now this might be abrupt, but my last recording kind of got corrupt.
It's the moment of truth.
Or we did some side questing.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
I don't think it does.
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Of course you have. You've been kind of busy with amnesia
after all
and
the
shit.
trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Fall Knights?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
Why would owls be drawn to the skies? That's literally
Sounds perfect for our
not
little
what an
escapade.
owl is. Owls don't fly that high.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... Well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
I don't like it. Owls are not drawn
Okay,
to the
people.
sky. That's
We
more
have
like
two
eagles who
goals.
fly high
First,
and
we need
prey
to
on
get to
other birds and
Lenegis
shit.
and make the renens finally leave Dana alone.
Yes.
And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good?
Yes. As good of a plan as any.
All right. And let's go.
Let's leave. Oh. Wait, you guys know how to fly this thing? Dohalim, is that you flying? I mean, it's gotta be. Who the fuck else could fly this thing? Oh well, we're in space now.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
You're in space, goddammit.
Believe what?
Farm boy.
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Oh,
Nothing like
that's not
realizing
real.
how small you are to put everything into perspective.
It's not insignificant.
Kinda makes the differences between the renens and the danens feel pretty small too, huh?
Not from what everything you've
How
been
much
saying
longer
so
until we
far,
reach
fucking
Lenegis?
piece of shit.
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
That
Good
would be
idea.
nice.
The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
boy. Yeah, just autopilot that shit.
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
It does suit her. Well, let's talk to everybody. Kisara, I imagine you're somewhere over there, over yonder. Any chests for me to open? No. Unfortunate. Alphen, why didn't you leave anything for yourself 300 years later? Kisara, what up?
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Yeah,
to hear
thank
it.
fuck for that.
That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
Yep.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down there.
Yep.
Alphen?
Definitely would come in handy.
Was it something I said?
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Leori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that'd mean you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
Sure.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
Aren't we all?
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but...
Everything
Alphen,
else?
Can you recall back to what it is that I said to you?
Back when we left Menencia?
About the dream of coexistence and needing to learn what it entailed?
Yeah, what about it?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now. And those still to come.
Yep.
The world's bigger than just Menencia.
No.
My dream is for all Danons.
I thought
wherever
Menencia
they
was
might
everything
be,
there ever is,
to
and
be
everything
free.
there ever was,
If I've
and
learned
everything
anything
there
on
will
this journey,
be.
it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Well,
You better
we're
be.
not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
The red lady.
I know. But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through looking the other way.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh?
One step at a time, yes. God damn, this dialogue is long as shit. You two bitches. You got anything to say? Why can't I jump on the table? Arguing, like always.
Hey, Alphen, listen to this! So Law and I were just talking and...
Hey, shut up!
Shut up.
What's got Law all flustered?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Yeah, maybe you are real well.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renin technology. It got me to Dana in one piece, remember?
That it did.
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alphen, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
Just wrong, okay. Oh, at least I'm glad those two were put to the point. We'll save Xion for last, as she's the most important.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
7 years since you started
You
working
mean
as a
since you
lord?
became a lord and left Lenegis?
Yep.
I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though, you too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions.
Yep.
Doesn't that frighten you?
Well,
A little bit.
it is a place where I took the lives of countless people.
Yep.
I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
Oh. He was the first one I was supposed to talk to. Oh well.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life
Really?
on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life. for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment.
Oh,
But in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
of course they
You
will.
mean they experimented on you?
That's right.
Bro,
All I
why are
was
you
to
talking
them was
about
a
like it's
riddle to
something
solve.
new?
They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me.
Oh, they didn't?
The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion.
Wow.
And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right?
I mean,
It's
it's
that
just,
logic
you know,
that's used to
luck or
justify
not.
slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Danon victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
Yep.
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Let's go! Together we can do this. Dohalim, together, you and I.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara
Everything.
has a point.
Everything.
Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana.
Was?
Of course, it also happens to be a
happened?
city in its own right, complete with its own independent society.
Better
Its
be.
social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
And you're top brass.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist.
Unfortunate.
As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Of course they are.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Danon. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right?
Obviously.
What about you, Xion?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Obviously.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Always is.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Law's blushing!
Who
I
cares?
am not!
Who the fuck
Of course,
cares?
separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst.
Obviously.
As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this red woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
Yep.
I would wager so. Lenegis is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are she's also connected to the renens Alma being stolen from us in Pelagian.
Well,
The
obviously,
renens
you
Alma is
saw
being
her
used to
steal
exploit
it.
Dana. We need to take it back at all costs.
That red woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We all do. Law. What? Computer.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
On what?
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them.
Right. So, let's watch this cutscene. I don't know why, but Lenegis kind of reminds me of a spider's butt shooting out fucking webs. Oh, we landed. That was pretty easy.
There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Oh, really? Then why are the doors open?
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
Probably.
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
Oh, now you want to spare Renan lives?
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right?
Yep.
And if we're lucky, the renens Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
That's a good question, Law.
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Yeah, and we have a sovereign with us. Alphen.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
Who knows?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst.
Yes, we do.
In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the renens Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the renens Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the renens Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman.
Interesting theory.
Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out.
Oh, yeah.
If there's even a
Alphen
chance
does
you can
have a
get us
fair
in,
point.
I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone.
Yeah, definitely should know where that is.
Beyond that wall lies a city full of renens. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what we'll find on the other side?
Wait, we can go back? Wait, we can go back? Bruh. The thing he said we can't go back. Oh, that's just bullshit. They fucking lied to us.
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Seriously?
For such a loudmouth, you sure can be a worrywart at times.
Shut up, Wormwell.
Oh, I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would you two children stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
So how many renens actually live in this place?
Not much.
I couldn't tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
Of course they do.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let our guard down after all.
Huh. Well, ain't that just amazing? Oh. The fuck? Well, something ain't right. Is the kid trying to fucking jump off the ledge? What the fuck is going on here, man? Seems like the town's been under attack.
What in the world?
This being Renin territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very
Right.
foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
The transformation of Lenegis, obviously.
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
See? Told you so.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But
Probably.
they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Yeah, it's not where it used to be, is
Dohalim?
it?
Is that you?
Huh?
Avakir. I'm glad to see you're well. So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people! So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then? Heard what?
Xian?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever.
Yep.
I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let
Goddamn.
alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No. We just arrived.
No.
Thank you very much.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
Whatever the fuck she was before. Okay, we get it.
I
Drop
can
the
well
subject.
imagine.
Drop the subject, my dude.
Why did you come back?
Pressing Lord
You
business.
know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
He isn't here for her.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
Kado? Play-Doh? Alrighty.
So who's Faria?
Love interest. What do you mean,
If what
love?
Avakir said is true, It would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
Of course they
They
are.
seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's...
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone.
Let's leave the
Yeah.
talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Yeah.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
Yes.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you.
Right.
The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Yes. Is Lenegis done for? The residential core is falling apart.
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process.
Nothing.
It's just-
The answer is nothing.
Unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Nope.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for?
You heard him. You don't...
Yeah, let's get a move on. We get it. An afterthought.
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so.
You'd think
Trust
so.
me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this.
I
It
can
makes you
imagine.
wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry, that probably sounded weird, huh?
No, it's actually a
Not
good
at all.
question for once.
Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure we will. With everything all topsy-turvy in the residential quarter, there are lots of injuries. Stuff keeps dropping on people and they're also falling down. You. Anything to tell me, bald dude?
Oh, dear me.
Oh,
What an
he's actually
unspeakable
voiced.
mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands.
Oh, what the fuck? Excuse
Whatever
you?
did we do to deserve this?
Excuse
You
you?
really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris?
Yes, that is him.
I believed he was on Dana.
He was, and now he's here.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
Of course not.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed.
Indeed, yes. Indubitably.
The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Yes, thank you very much, thank you very much.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Yes, thank you, old man, thank you. There might be some chests still. Hey! Speak of the devil. A chest appears. Strawberries, interesting. Can anyone hear me? Please someone answer me. What's going on? Why can't I reach anyone? Okay, just the same stuff. Where's the dang sovereign when you need him? Can't he see the city's in trouble? Let's not jump to conclusions. I'm sure there's a reason he hasn't appeared yet. Hey. Zoogle? No. Where am I? I just went out for a walk, but now I don't know where I am. I don't know, everything's falling apart and looks completely different. I can't get a hold of mother and father either. You have nothing to fear, kids. I'm sure there's a reason for everything that's going on. But even the Zoogles are out running loose. Dangerous. Zoogles are nothing more than our servants. They may have gotten out, but I assure you I'll have them back under control before long. If you kids consider yourselves to be proud renens, then be brave. We'll have the situation fixed before you know it. So you say. Heal. In all my years, never have I seen such potent healing arts. Thank you so much for taking the time to help an old woman like me. Fancy parfait recipe. Well, that's nice, I suppose.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Yeah, you focus on other parts. Don't worry about it, though, Hardy. Are you
Your
voiced as
lordship!
well?
Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Of course you did.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
Yourself?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked.
Right. Very defensive, aren't you? The Zoogles suddenly stopped listening to our commands. As soon as we turned our backs, they bolted for the horizon. Nothing like this has ever happened before. We have to put the crown contest on hold. We can't carry it out while things are like this. You'd think so, wouldn't you? You would think so. You, lady, can you help us?
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
Yeah.
I suppose the Sovereign knows best.
You'd think
I
so,
daren't
wouldn't you?
stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
Why
It's
don't
worth
you try
investigating,
looking
at least.
with your eyes?
I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
No, you won't.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both renin, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
Well, we have to try
No one
the
has the
path.
faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Always has been.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan.
I see.
There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
Yeah, who
The
was the
Sovereign, of
last
course.
contest's
He rules from
winner?
Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is.
Run.
Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Of course not.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renin homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
Interesting
But what
thought.
about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
True,
Not if the Sovereign
fair.
is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said
Yeah,
that the
deception.
Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renin ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent.
Super silent.
As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me,
A
Danon.
Danon. Yes, you, a Danon.
300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do
Interesting.
you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
It's a possibility,
But
yes.
that would mean that 2 sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did
Maybe.
see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's
Volron
something
is
else the
dead. Come on,
ceremony
guys.
needs.
Don't be like that.
A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me,
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
Well, we have one
If the
Sovereign
Forbidden
right
Zone
here.
really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Yes.
then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
Yes, we need.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. Let's go find it.
Yeah, surprisingly, she hasn't checked it herself. What? Okay, there was this one guy right there. Okay. Can't get to do the sketch yet. Can I please?
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renin homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renin society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
Yeah.
I know. But seeing renens in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah,
A little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Also, you know, we have a lord with us, so they'll obviously talk to you.
I didn't realize renens oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only—
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danan city we visited.
Even
I used to think
Menancia.
it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Makes sense.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
What skill?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
He's a lord. The fuck do you
I'm
mean?
afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it. How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got
What
me
do you
curious.
want to do
Is
with
there special training to master?
you and your training?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey, what's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Wait, is talking to the people like a side quest or a main quest thingy? It's a main quest thing. No, it's not. How long has this recording been going on for a while now? Oh, just 43 minutes, easy. Well, there was no combat at this one, so should not be a problem. I want to know which lord I support. Why? Are you out canvassing for someone? I'm with His Excellency Ervalsi Teldilisi. You probably know him better as Lord Ballsack. I know a lot of people consider him to be a giant brute. Believe me, I realize he can be an aggressive man. What those people don't realize is how much he looks after the members of his house. It's fair to say that House whatever the fuck doesn't enjoy much esteem. Those of us who serve it will be the first to admit that. But His Excellency always stands up against any who would mean us harm. Of that we can be sure. His efforts in the crown contest aren't only for his family, but to improve the standing of each and every member of his house. I owe so much to His Excellency. I could never dream of serving any other lord. Alrighty.
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
What about you? Lord O'Halim, you have returned. I see you brought aides with you. Do you remember who I am, my lord? Surely you must, yes? Not only do I support House Ilkaras, but most specifically his lordship personally. So much so, I've been trying to share my appreciation of his lordship to any who will listen. In fact, I was planning to publish my extensive writings on the subject through this very terminal for all to read and enjoy. But since the lines appear to be cut due to the recent tumult, I've been unable to upload them. I know, since you're all here, I'll just read them out loud to you. Ahem. There exists a most handsome man, a man who radiates beauty, whose every word, every syllable is divine poetry. He hails from the famed house Ilkaras, and his name, Lord Dohalim. Music is his passion, the arts his great love. The scores of boorish, uncouth men of this land cannot begin to compare to his magnificence. So refined and majestic is his posture, why the mere thought of it brings me to ecstasy. Once he becomes our sovereign, Rena shall bloom anew, ushering in an era of prosperity for our grand civilization. Until that glorious day comes, I shall forever be praying for his victory. Morning, noon, and night. Huff, huff. Well, what do you think, my lord? I poured my whole heart into hoping to capture your essence. Wait, I forgot to mention anything about his lordship's love for collecting things. I must take this time while the lines are down to append it. Only then will my masterpiece be complete. Interesting
I guess
indeed.
she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
No comment. Almedra? You support Almedra, don't you? Well, I never. To think anyone would try to tear me away from House Valkyris. Oh, no, you're not.
What?
What do you want? Don't tell me you work for Lord Ohalim or that dreadful Lord Almedra, do you? Well, yeah, well, we work for Ohalim. You don't? Well, don't scare me like that. To answer your question, I came from a family that has served House Valkyris for generations. That's Wolran's house, right? Oh no, that's Ganabelt. Indeed, I'm doing all I can to support Lord Ganabelt. Behind the scenes so that he might emerge victorious. Many think him to be a cruel man, but I insist they're utterly mistaken. Though I won't deny he can be strict, he puts Rena's interest front and center like no one else. Why, he advocates that rather than stay confined to Lenegis, we should get on with colonizing Dana and expand our horizons. That way, we will become masters of both worlds and overturn our current minority status on Dana's surface. That is why he seeks to become our next sovereign. Tell me, is there a greater, more noble ambition than that? I think not. It is a pursuit of power for the advancement of all our kind. It is what makes him an exemplary lord, a model above all others. Though I was unable to accompany him myself, my two sons have been blessed with the honor of joining him on the surface. Oh, fuck. I accidentally double
Ganabelt
tapped.
was so horrible to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Because he just didn't want to. Because he saw you as lesser beings, that's why. Easy as fuck to understand. Just accept that he's a bad person towards
This area doesn't
Danans.
look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis's transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
Sure. Who do you support?
Pardon me.
This area falls under the sole jurisdiction of House Canaris. I must ask you to depart at once. Surely you don't claim to be ignorant of our famed house, ruled over by the esteemed Lord Almedria. If so, I urge you to listen well. In fact, I bid you listen carefully regardless. Have you ever noticed how in the history of Lenegis only a few women lords have emerged to compete in the crown contest? Many have theories as to why this might be, but Lord Almedria quashed the doubts of any naysayers through sheer might. In fact, not only did she usurp her father and previous family master, she also removed her older brother to claim the seat for herself. She is a woman who stops at nothing to get what she wants, who gives her enemies nary the slightest opening to strike. Truly, Lord Almedria is a woman of talent. No one in all Rena better exemplifies the virtues of our nation's meritocracy? Meritocracy? Is that right? Soon, the age of glorious woman sovereign reign over Lenegis shall be upon us at last. Quite the fanatic we have here.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
You saved my life. Wouldn't have been a goner had you not arrived when you did, milady. I understand we're in Crown Costa, but I had no idea such a capable astral artist was in our midst. Forgive me for not realizing it sooner. Come on, you don't need to bow so deeply. All I did was strike that Zugel's weak point. I didn't even get to go down to Dana for the Crown Contest. I'm not sure how to feel about all the praise you're heaping on me.
Ridiculous.
Huh. How loathsome. Huh? Oh, I was just reading about Wolran. Can I help you?
Okay.
I was always an ardent supporter of Lord Urvagil. Urvagil? Hildress myself. Were it not for his sudden death down on the surface, I likely still would be. In my eyes, Lord Urvagil is the true Water Lord. I don't believe for a second that he perished in some accident, like they say. As for how Wolran runs Ganef Heros, don't get me started. I hear he enslaves not only Danits, but even his fellow renens. We may live in a society where to the victor go the spoils, but these actions go against what we as a people stand for. Besides, just what sort of family line is this house Ignisaria of his anyway? I've never heard of it until he came along, which means they must be among the lowest dregs of society. That such an ignoble lineage could suddenly produce an astral artist capable of ascending to lordship is unheard of. None of it makes any sense, not to mention all of the upheaval around here of late. What is happening to all our people?
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volran either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganeth Heros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we renens are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renens live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
So to
Right.
speak.
It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you, because we're threats to Rena.
Guess
Yeah.
that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the lords were all people, too. Balsif
Were?
and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that.
Yeah, you better
But at
not.
the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were renens, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Renwell.
Am I wrong?
not
Oh,
at
are
all.
you finally starting to
Being a
change your
Danon
fucking
doesn't make
tune?
you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Obviously.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust, as a fellow human being above all else.
Errands and their lords. Yay, I get gold out of thin air for that. Oh, a chest. Some grape gel, that's nice. Father, what's going on? I'm scared. I'm not sure, son. Neither... Never in all my years have on Lenegis has anything like this ever happened. Not even once. There's always been a decree before anything takes place. Not only was there none this time, but the residential quarter has seen damage and injuries. Could that mean there's something bad happening then? It's possible. For now, all we can do is wait and hope for the best. Right. Right. Oh. Cutscene?
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfricht Milgras, the former lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfricht whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now
And
that
the
you
one
mention
before
it,
that, and
I
the
don't
one
recall
before
anyone
that.
ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Rennes Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
I see
True,
what you're
but
getting at.
Going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both.
Forbidden Zone.
Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
Let's
No
hope
use
so.
standing around here chatting about it then.
Let's get a move on. Yes, I agree.
Doe?
Though.
Faria.
Faria. Oh, hello.
Faria? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
Shut up, Law.
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already.
Oh, please. No such thing.
Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
Sounds like a
If
you
killing
problem.
me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else.
Yeah, sure.
You're just a coward!
Yeah, whatever you... Whatever the fuck. You're probably the guy's wife of the person he murdered or whatever. Oh, hello, Red Woman. Hello there, Red Woman. Now they're going to get curious and like, oh yeah, you killed to become a lord? Like, yeah, I did.
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Oh, you're surprised?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menencia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Fair enough.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menencia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Come on.
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Yeah, sure. I can't really say I give a fuck about that right now. These guys have literally been through so much, and they literally killed so much. I'm honestly just surprised. They're like that they are surprised, honestly. Like, yeah, he killed people. He's from Rena. That's the nature of their existence on Lenegis. Even Xian told her, like, it's very competitive, power rules and all of that. So I'm not sure why they're so surprised about what he did. Tofu! Get your tofu!
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these renens sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before
Of course
I went
it
down
is.
to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagan. He was the one that Faria mentioned,
The
right?
one he killed, yes.
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed.
Yeah, called it.
Despite Faria's lower class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagan and Avakir.
Uh-huh.
It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
It was quite the sausage party.
A friendship based on mutual respect, in a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menencia.
Yep. That is
Your
true.
praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society.
Mm-hmm.
But fate was not so benevolent.
What do you mean?
What happened?
Tarnagan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
Yep.
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Would they, though?
Shion's right.
I mean, yeah, they would.
What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always.
As she should be.
But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Big booty mommy Kisara is not to be trifled with.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
Fuck yeah, it is.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
I like how Rinwell and Law were
Sometimes
completely
just
out of
knowing someone's on
the
your side
picture.
can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
You say that.
I hope you're right.
Alec here?
Alphen,
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Oh, goodness, I've never had to be graced by Lord O'Holm and his companions. If there's anything I can do for you all, please, by all means. Oh, fuck. I wanted to go back and, you know, not rest, but, sure. I'll do that again, shall we? Let's rest again, but with cooking. Defense up M.
That came out great.
Oh yeah, everybody loved that. No conversation at all. I was hoping for a conversation, but fine. What do you have? Happy bottle, diamond mail. Helps for magic defense. Oh. Or everybody else just like, yeah, let me just have that. Happy bottle, don't need. What are some things I can sell? I can sell the happy bottles, sure. I don't really need them. Materials. $28K, goddamn. I'm rich. So to say. Weapons, crude sword. Okay, got all of that. Badges, those things. Diamond cloak. Let's sell the old ones. You can buy one more like that. We don't need one for Kisara, she's already tanky as fuck. Wait, what can I buy for consumables? Treat. Happy one. No, let's buy one of these, or two of these, sure. Materials. Sure, I guess I could sell some of these. Get some money in here. Sure. We have some money now. Anything else? Oops. Oh, come on. Pink protector, really? I could make this. It's not that much better, to be honest, though. Gladius Rene. I could make this as well. If I had the money, but you know. Make this one. Historia Rene. Lenegis technology. It's built to be lightweight and fit. Okay. Published in Lenegis. A sword made with the Lenegis' technology. Yeah, it's all the Lenegis technology. What the fuck? A soul shot? A famous cannon that belonged to a man thought to be immortal. Most who try to fire themselves are bound to be blown back by the recoil. Oh well.
You can never be too prepared. But did we have to spend so much?
Yes. We did, so we can be prepared for what's to come. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.